Hi guys, today we're going to talk about graphing in slope-intercept form. And slope-intercept form is when you've solved for y. So you can see over here the y is by itself. So anytime the y is by itself, that you know that you're in slope-intercept form. And we just want to identify the number that's with the x, or the coefficient with the variable. That's going to be your slope. Okay, so in this case, 3 is our slope. And the lonely guy over here that's not attached to the variable, that's going to be our y-intercept. So we'll identify him with green. That's your y-intercept. And make sure to take the sign with it. So when we're going to graph in slope-intercept form, the first thing we always look for is the y-intercept. And we're going to plot that on the y-axis. So the y-intercept here is -1, so I'm going to go to the y-axis. And I'm going to go to -1 and I'm going to plot a point. That's always my starting point, is the y-intercept. Then we're going to go back and we're going to look at the slope. And in this case, the slope is 3, which when we're talking about slope, remember that we want rise over run. So all whole numbers go over the number 1. So this means that our rise is 3 and our run is 1. So this is the pattern in which we're moving through the table or the graph. So if I start at the y-intercept and I rise 3, 1, 2, 3, and I run 1, it's positive, so I'm running to the right. I went up and running to the right, and that's my next point. And I'll continue this pattern. Up 3 again, 1, 2, 3, to the right 1. And I could follow it down the other way. I could go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and to the left 1. And you'll see that it makes a straight line. So that's how we would graph in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to show you a couple different examples now. So let's try a different one that might look a little bit differently. And that way you know how to do them all. So let's say we have y equals -1/2 x plus 4. Again, well, let's use blue. The lonely guy is my y-intercept. So I'm going to identify my y-intercept. The slope is with the x, so that's my slope. It's -1/2. Always start by graphing the y-intercept. So we're going to start at +4 on the y-axis, and you'll notice I'm putting a point right there. And from there, I'm going to use the pattern of the slope, which is rise over run. And in this case, it's -1/2. I always put the negative sign with the top number. It just makes it easier because when I think of rising -1/2, instead of going up, I'm going to go down. So in this case, I'm going to go down 1, and I'm still going to the right 2. Down 1 and to the right 2. Down 1 and to the right 2. And you can see that when I make my line, oops, not a very straight line, but when I make my line, you can see that the line is going down when you read it like a book left to right. And when it has a negative slope, we want to make sure that that line is going down. Okay, so that's how we would do that one. Let's try another one. The next one looks a little different again, a little differently. We're going to say y equals 2x. So in this case, we're looking for the y-intercept, or the lonely guy. And if you look over here, there's nothing there. And when there's nothing there, that's because the y-intercept is 0. And so I'm going to plot that at the point of origin, or 0, 0. And then I'm going to look at my slope, which is with the variable, which is 2. So my rise over run, whole numbers always go over 1. And so from here, I'm going to rise 2, 1, 2, run 1. Rise 2, run 1. Rise 2, run 1. And I can make my line. And you'll see that the line should be going up when I read it left to right, because it's got a positive slope here. All right, that's a positive number. If that was a negative number, the line should be going down. All right, let's try another example. This example is y equals 5. Now on this one, you notice all you have is the lonely guy. So that's my y-intercept. I don't have anything next to it. So I'm looking for the slope. There is no x there. That's because the x is being multiplied by 0. Really what's happening is it looks like this. It has a slope of 0, which means the line does not go up at all. It can go over, but it doesn't go up at all. It's a horizontal line. So whenever you have a y equals a number with no x there, it's going to be a horizontal line, and the slope has a slope of 0. And then we'll do one more. And this one is even trickier, or at least it seems it to me. So this is x equals 5. And here, it's not y equals 5, so 5 is not the y-intercept. X equals 5, you just have to remember it's going to, that means no matter what, your x is always equal to 5. Sorry, very messy. Yeah, x is always equal to 5, so it's going to be a vertical line at 5, where x is 5. It actually doesn't have a y-intercept. So that one's a little bit tricky. And that's how we would do graphing from slope-intercept form.